Hello everybody and welcome to my series where I try to collect every LEGO DC minifigure ever released. This includes every minifigure that was directly released in a set. Does not include the giant expensive Comic-Con minifigures. Not only are those guys ridiculously expensive, but they're kind of almost impossible to get nowadays. So anyone just directly in a set. We have several guys to add to the wall today. The wall has been updated to the most recent minifigures from 2025. So without further ado, let's get started and check out who we got. Alrighty, so first up we have the oldest guys in the hall today. On the left here we have Batman, and this specific Batman is Batman with a blue cape. This is what kind of makes this guy exclusive. He came out all the way back in 2014 and he came out in about 3 sets, a lot of junior sets between 2014 and 2016. And this is a pretty cool Batman. LEGO, of course, has put out probably 100 Batmans at this point. But this one's pretty cool because it's blue. We don't see a whole lot of blue Batmans. His cowl here is molded in the original older style cowl. So it's a full connecting piece down at the chin, and popping that cowl off, you can see he's got that bandana because that's where the eyes poke through. That's how they used to do it. Nowadays, it's like a molded piece, which is probably a lot better. And he does have an alternate face for that. So looking pretty good. He does indeed have a blue cloth cape. It's more of the starchy material, so you know it can bend and crease pretty easily, unfortunately. Looking at his front torso for the prints there, it's just a very standard Batman print. He's got the musculature and then the yellow and black Batman insignia and a yellow belt. And then everything is molded in that light bluish gray. And then again, flipping him around, you can see that nice little cape there. And popping the cape off, you can see the print underneath of it. And again, just a basic Batman. You got some back musculature, and then that yellow belt continues around the back. So all in all, a pretty decent minifigure. On the right here, we have a LexCorp henchman, and this is LexCorp henchman number 1 because there was a second one that came out in this set. This guy released in 2016 in the Kryptonite Interception set, and he goes for about $2. And I did forget to mention it, the Batman on the left here, he goes for about $4.50. Both of these minifigures not very hard to get. This LexCorp henchman is based off of the Snyderverse era of guys. This is when that guy came out in the Snyderverse sets, I believe in the Justice League. And he's kind of more realistic up. He's got a realistic jacket printing, so not very comic booky, molded in that dark green. It looks really good. And then his legs are molded in the black. He's got a very basic head print there. We've seen this head print many a time. On the back there, you can see a nice, cool LexCorp writing there on the back of there. So that looks really good. And then he's got an angry face on the back to give you an alternate head to play with. So very cool. For a $2 minifigure, this is pretty cool. And you can army build your LexCorp henchman all you want. But that does it for these two guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Next up, we have a couple of minifigures from the Mighty Micros line. And this was something that LEGO did, right? I wasn't, a huge fan of it. I was kind of getting older at the point when these were releasing, and I just had no interest in these whatsoever. And I don't think a whole lot of people did, and the prices reflect that. So Catwoman here on the right, she goes for about $2. Or sorry, she goes for about $1.75. Not very expensive. And Batman here is $2. These minifigures are very easy to get. There's a ton of them on Bricklink. They're all very cheap. And they're not very interesting. They're just the minifigures with short legs on them, because the whole gimmick of this line was you get these little race car style things, and they fight, but they're micro, they're Mighty Micros. It was an interesting gimmick that I don't think landed very well. On the left here we have another Batman. Always got to have a ton of Batman in the sets. And the prints for these guys were very toned down, very simplified. So it's a flat, dark bluish gray molded torso there. And then he's got the bat insignia and a belt printed on there. And then he's got the legs molded in black. popping the cowl off here. This is the more updated cowl where the chin strap is removed from it. And you kind of see that kind of funky print there because the eyes do still poke through there. And it is kind of a good print because it looks like his eyes are squinting and scowling. I do like that. The facial expressions on the Mighty Micros are probably the best part of the line. Flipping him around on the back here, he does have a small back cape. So if you want a smaller one for customs or minifigures, there you go. And this is printed in the, or produced in the more mesh fabric, so more malleable, doesn't crease as much. And you can flip it up pretty easy to see the back print, and it is just, a line for the belt. And it even looks like it's a little misprinted there because the print doesn't continue all the way to the side. But that's Batman. Catwoman's a little bit more interesting. Her torso print there is a little more intricate. You can see the suit details, the zipper, and the cat belt with the cat insignia on the belt. So that looks really good. The hat here for her cowl is done in that classic Catwoman, from the classic Lego Batman series. Very cool. Like that cowl a lot. And then if you pop the cowl off, you can see the print underneath there. And same deal with Batman. That funky print pokes through the eyes of the cowl there. So very basic print continues on the back, and then there is no alternate head prints. I don't think any of the Mighty Micros had an alternate head print, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, not very interesting minifigures, but a couple of guys I did have to add to the wall eventually. But that does it for these two guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Alrighty, after a couple of a little more boring minifigures, we have some very cool and unique minifigures. So on the left here, we have Firefly. And this is a really cool minifigure, a cool villain. He's a little more obscure. This guy came out in 2019 in the Batman mech versus Poison Ivy mech, and he goes for $65 now. So he's getting very expensive. He actually was not very expensive up until recently. I swooped in and got this guy right before the price hike. So I am super glad that I snagged him before all that, because he debuted in the new Lego Batman video game. So he's going to be featured in that game. And I think fans saw that and yoinked him and grabbed him, because there were like 3 listings on Bricklink for Firefly, and they're all very expensive. If you wanted a good condition Firefly, the cheapest one was $65. I believe if you wanted one with like a crack, it was $55, but still, that's ridiculously expensive. But Firefly here looks really cool. He's got an exclusive helmet piece there with his eyes printed on it. Looks really, really good. It almost looks kind of like an Iron Man mech. It's very cool looking. And then his torso is also pretty detailed. He's got some like Firefly armor. It almost looks like his torso here is glowing, which is really, really cool. Popping that helmet off, you can see he's just got a basic face here. I believe they use this on Lex Luthor a lot, so not very exciting. And then flipping him around, he does have this back bracket, because in this set he's got this giant jetpack, fire or flamethrower type deal. Bricklink does not count that as part of the minifigure, so I don't either, but I'll probably build that off to the side for him if I ever use him in a mock or whatever I might use Firefly for. And then popping the bracket off, you can see the detail of the back a little bit better. So very cool minifigure. Very, very glad I had this in the collection before he skyrocketed in price. I believe I picked him up for $20, which is it's kind of an expensive minifigure for $20, right? But not nearly as expensive as 65, so dodge that bullet. On the right here, we have another really cool minifigure, but much, much cheaper. This is Bumblebee. And Bumblebee released in the DC collectible minifigure series in 2020. If you want to get her in good condition, she goes for about $4.50. So pretty cheap, very easy to get, which is kind of shocking because she is a cool minifigure and a unique superhero too. So we have not gotten a Bumblebee before. So it's a cool minifigure, especially if you want to round out your Teen Titans. And she looks pretty good. She's got these pigtail style hairpiece here. And then she's got the goggles over her eyes and a really nice torso print with the Bumblebee pattern. She's got even some arm printing. This is when they were doing a lot of arm printing, so it's cool to see that. She's got some like brackets or bracelets on there. So very cool minifigure. Flipping her around, you can see she does have bumblebee wings. And these are molded in the trans clear or kind of opaque clear piece there. It is a softer plastic, or sorry, no, it's actually not. It's a hard plastic, so there is no bending those. You can see the print of the bumblebee wings on there. If we pop the hair piece off, she does have an alternate headpiece. And then removing the wings there, you can see the back print a little bit better, and it looks pretty good. You can even see kind of like where the wings would attach, because I don't believe she always has her wings out. She can retract them, I believe, in the comics and TV shows she's in. So if you want to display her without the wings, it's even got some nice detail there to allow you to do so. So a couple of very cool minifigures, but let's see what we have next. Alrighty, next up we have minifigures from the Batman Tumbler vs. Two-Face and Joker set. These guys all came out in 2025 in the same set, and it's based off of the Dark Knight movie version of these characters. So on the left here we have Batman, of course, and this is his Dark Knight appearance. He's got the Dark Knight armor here and copper belt, so it looks very good. However, the cowl is inaccurate to this appearance of Batman. You know, he's got no eyes that do anything. It's just Christian Bale eyes, right? But, you know, anyway, it's fine. The torso print is really good. There is no leg printing, which is a little disappointing, I think. I would have liked to see some additional armor bits there, but, you know, it is what it is. The torso looks really good regardless. So he does have the updated cowl piece here with his eyes molded on there. And the face underneath there looks pretty decent. It actually looks like Christian Bale, I think, even though it is so simple. And then flipping him around, he's got this awful rubber cape. I hate this piece. I've really come to dislike it, I think. I'm not a fan of it at all. Like, it gets in the way of things, out of posing and sitting down, and I don't like it at all. He does have an alternate head print there, looking a little more angry, a little more scowling, so you do have that option. And then removing that rubber cape piece, you can see even more of that armor detailing, and that print looks so good. I just wish that the print continued onto the legs or hip or something, just to, you know, make it a little bit better. But that print looks pretty good. If you want to get this Batman in good condition, he goes for about $8 right now. In the middle here, we have the Joker. And this is, Bricklink refers to him as dark purple suit, green vest, and bright green hair. If you want to get him in good condition, he goes for about $14. This is, of course, based off of the Heath Ledger version of the Joker. But again, not very screen accurate. He doesn't ever really wear this bright purple suit. He always wears a little bit more muted colors. Dark purple, I think, could be a little more accurate. Same deal with the hair. I think it should be a dark green, but it is a version of the Heath Ledger Joker. The face print there looks pretty good, though. That, I believe, is pretty accurate. It's got the standard light flesh tone there with the kind of messed up makeup and grid lines. That looks pretty good. That looks like Heath Ledger Joker to me, and he does have a pretty good alternate face as well. He has the Clone Wars Anakin hairpiece there, and this actually I think looks pretty good. It pulls off the look pretty decently, and he does have some standard back printing as well. On the right here, we probably have my favorite minifigure from this set. This is Two-Face, and this is the Dark Knight version of Two-Face, and looks really good. If you want to get him in good condition, he goes for about $20. So the most expensive minifigure of the bunch here. Even though Bricklink doesn't count it, he does have this coin that he flips for included with the set. I just wanted to show that off. It's a pretty cool piece there. No glare. You can see the scratching in the head of the coin. That looks really good, but we can remove that. Two-Face here looks really good. He's got an excellent face print with that scarred half of the face. Looks fantastic. And then his suit is burnt halfway through, including giving him a black arm as well, kind of like that split duality of Two-Face. I do wish that the leg was black as well. Now I can't remember if that is accurate to the look of the Dark Knight Two-Face or not. It's been a really long time since I've seen that movie. But just from a minifigure perspective, if you're not going to give us like the most accurate Batman and Joker, like give us that black leg. I think it'll pull the minifigure together very well. But I have to go back and look at some images to see if that is accurate to the look of Two-Face or not. Other than that, it's just a pretty great print all around on his face and torso. And then he does have this new hair piece there. Like from the side, it looks like a full complete head of hair. And then off to the other side, it's like burnt off and combed over. That is a really cool hair piece, I think. I believe that is exclusive to this Two-Face. So very, very neat. And then on the back here, we pop that hair off. You can see he does have some scarring as well on the back of his head. And the print for his burnt half of the suit also continues on the back. So very cool minifigure. But that does it for these three guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Alrighty, next up we have a couple of minifigures from the 2025 Arkham Asylum set. And these guys are pretty cool. So on the left here we have Batwing. And this is an exclusive superhero, the first time we've ever gotten a Batwing release. And I'm so glad that they gave us a new character in the Arkham set. Such a cool one. Batwing is a little bit more obscure of a character, but I like Batwing a lot. I remember him in that DCAU movie, and he was kind of cool in it. But this minifigure looks very cool. Everything is molded in the gunmetal gray for the torso and legs and the cowl, so he's a very cool looking Batman variant here. And then his eyes have this cool like light blue print on them. It looks so good, and it matches his bat insignia there. So very, very neat looking. He's got a couple of studs on the bottom there to represent his, thrusters. And then popping the cowl off, you can see his face print underneath there. So pretty good face print in my opinion. And then he does have a scared face print underneath there. And which is nice because he uses the updated cowl piece that they put out for a couple years now. And allows for actual face prints to be used instead of using those weird headband pieces. He does include a backpack here, and it flips up and down. He's got like a jet thruster. That's his whole gimmick, is he can fly. He's got a jetpack. He's Batwing, and he's got a sticker here for the jetpack. And then removing the jetpack underneath there, you can see his back printing, which again looks pretty good for something you'll probably never see with his jetpack attached. That back printing is pretty good. Lots of little armor rivets and detailing there. Very cool. And I also do like how the head print there, like underneath, it looks like a scared face print, but because of the cowl and the angles of like the eyebrows, it looks like he's like screaming at you. So pretty cool detail there. I will remove Batwing from here, leaving his thrusters, of course, but Batwoman on the right here is very, very cool. She's got this giant cape piece. In fact, I'm just going to, slot her over a little bit so we can take a closer look at her, because she's got this huge cape piece. It looks like, the bat, kind of like she's jumping off of a building and the cape's billowing back. So she looks really good. This is the second Batwoman I believe we've gotten. And what makes her exclusive is actually the cape here. She's got very similar, if not the same, prints for the torso. She reuses the head or the cowl mold there, which is a very good cowl. You can see like the red hair go coming out of that. So very cool. I'm a big fan of that cowl piece. And you can kind of see the cape here. The underside is red versus the backside is black. So very good there. Popping her cowl off. She does use those goggles, unfortunately. I definitely prefer a molded, eyes on the cowl, but this is fine. It is what it is, because it wouldn't quite work for Batwoman either, because she's got this white kind of print and skin underneath it. But this is fine. And then if we want to remove, she does have an alternate face there, so if you want to make her look a little bit more neutral, you can do so. And then flipping that cape around, you can see the back print there a little bit better. Very cool minifigure. I like it that they're giving us more extended Bat family members. But so now if we could get like Signal or Orphan or, you know, a little bit more of the Bat family, that would be so cool. So if you want to get Batwoman, she goes for about $11. And then Batwing, since he's a little more obscure and exclusive, he goes for about $24. But that does it for these two guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Then for the last two minifigures of this haul, we have a couple more from the Arkham Asylum set. We have Robin here, and this is a Damian Wayne version of Robin, and looks very different from the previous Damian Wayne Robin we got, you know, several years ago. He's got this cool scalloped asymmetrical cape here. That's kind of what Lego calls it, and it flips off to the side. It looks like it's off-centered, but that's actually how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to look like his cape's billowing in the wind. This is a cool looking Robin here. He's got kind of this gray, black, and red armor and outfit here. You see the Robin insignia on there. He's kind of even got a green belt. He's got a lot of colors clashing together. He does have midi legs, so he can bend back and forth, so not the small legs, so like that quite a bit. His face print there looks pretty good. He's got his mask on, and then he's got this spiky hair piece that we've gotten for years and years and years now. It's not a new piece at all. And then he's got a very scared face underneath there. And removing the cape, you can see the back printing underneath, and it's pretty intricate, very good back printing there. So I'm a big fan of this Robin. He looks really good, even if he's got a lot of clashing colors. I almost like him more without the cape. The cape is cool, like, you know, you can see it's got yellow on one side and black on the other. So I always like when they, you know, dual color those capes. That's pretty neat. But I almost kind of like the non-static nature of it. You know, I much prefer the more mesh capes where you can pose them yourself instead of they're like locked into this pose. But it is what it is. If you want to get Robin in good condition, he goes for about $13. The Riddler, on the other hand, is pretty good as well. He is molded in the standard green, Lego green, but Brickley calls it bright green. And he looks pretty good. Very similar to other Riddlers we've gotten in the past. Not the most exciting minifigure, but I do like the golden question mark on his bowler hat and the question marks throughout his suit and tie. So big fan of that. And then on the back here, you can see more question marks for his little outfit there. No back head printing. And if you want to get the Riddler for good condition, he goes for about $12. So slightly cheaper than Robin. But that does it for the haul here. Let's go add these guys to the wall and see where they belong. Alrighty, now we get to play the game of where did I just put everyone, because I always forget. But I believe the first guy up here is the blue Batman. He's right near the top. And then next to him is the LexCorp henchman. This is the new one. I already had the second one that came in the set, so glad to have them standing together. Over to the right, we have the Mighty Micros Batman and Catwoman. And then after them, I believe we go all the way down to the center of the wall here. We have Firefly. So he's filling up a nice spot in the middle there, making it look a little bit more complete. And then Bumblebee is right down below him, next to a lot of the other CMF minifigures from the line. And then we have the Tumbler set with Batman and Joker and Two-Face. And then we start to get to some of the Arkham sets with Robin and Riddler, Batwoman, Batwing. I did take her cape off and kind of just put it on the wall there. I'm trying not to crease it because otherwise the corners would go underneath her leg or the edges would be bent. Doesn't look the greatest, but I think that kind of helps preserve the quality of the cape a little bit better. But that does it for the wall update. I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe to join the Emperor's Legion. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Who was your favorite minifigure we added to the wall today? Who are you excited to see added to the wall that I have yet to have? And who's your favorite DC minifigure? You know, I don't think DC gets enough love that it should. So always like to see what everyone thinks. But until then, I'll see you all next time.